enough, we are going to go ahead and get into this Millie Alcock situation because the Supergirl trailer dropped earlier this afternoon. Not even an hour after the trailer dropped, which we already had our speculations. At least me, I already know. I was kind of like looking at that trailer. They already introduced the second chick. You already know it's gonna be one of them movies, and I'm like, all right. We've done this before. We know how this goes. We know that after the first weekend, once word of mouth hits, this movie is going to be DOA. Now, I can't say that for sure. Obviously, we don't know every context of the entire movie. Maybe it might be a good movie. Who knows? But right now, Millie Alcock is not helping her situation at all. Not helping this movie that's being 2.5 months out at all. So she actually sat down with Vanity Fair in an interview, and she says that she's aware that she'll face backlash over leading Warner Brothers Supergirl simply because she's playing a female superhero. Now, I don't really have an issue with that statement at all. There's actually only one statement I really have a problem with that she says. But the fact that you're having to literally state, "Oh, I'm leading I already know the kind of backlash and everything I'm going to be facing as being a leading woman for Warner Brothers Supergirl." Millie, I don't know if you know this, but you're not the first woman to play Supergirl. There's been a handful of women that have been in your position and have been able to actually handle themselves in a correct manner, unlike what the dumb shit you're about to say. So you already know she broke out, yes, as Game of Thrones and House of Dragon. You already know that. She played Rhaenyra Targaryen. Did a really good job, by the way. But she goes on to say, "It definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on." Well, you being an actress and being a part of at least 2 really big fandoms, yeah, that kind of comes with the territory. That's just like when they first casted Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. A lot of people didn't like that choice. He proved them wrong. So again, we're in 2026 and you're still trying to run with this narrative like it's something new. We have become very comfortable, and this is the part that I really have the issue with. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself. Well, Millie, it's funny you say that, because right after you said the statement, maybe you should kind of retract and look, or at least reflect and look and see, how many sex scenes did you do in House of the Dragon? Because this statement, these words shouldn't even come out of your mouth, even if you did 1 sex scene with House of the Dragon. So that's where I got confused when I'm looking at this article, and I see on Twitter, it's plastered everywhere, Millie Alcock says that, people have become very comfortable of having weird ownerships of women's bodies. Okay. Let me ask you this, Millie. Do you think that pissing off the fans is gonna do you any good? Do you really think that going out of your way to attack and divide a huge fandom, by the way, I mean, it's not as big as Superman, but again, if we're just talking about the DC fandom, then yeah, very huge fandom. You're talking about dividing the fans this far out from your movie? You couldn't just, I don't know, shut the fuck up? So, shout out to Forever Riot. He says, when has this tactic ever worked out for any movie or show? It hasn't. It really hasn't. And I want to go to my tweet out here. So I say, PR teams in the future should teach them not to talk out the side of their mouths and divide fans, especially large fandoms. Not cry about DMs from a handful of nobodies and just talk about the movie. You'd learn a thing or two from Brie Larson right now, little girl. And for those people that don't know the reference of what I'm talking about, let's just go back to, what was it, about 8 years ago? Brie Larson on that horrible nightmare of a PR run that she did with Captain Marvel, with that movie. Even though that movie made $1 billion, but we all know why that movie made $1 billion, and we also know why the second one tanked so bad that nobody wanted to talk about it after that weekend. That movie was not talked. That movie was ethered from existence, forgotten about after that first weekend. Nobody ever talked about that movie ever again. That's how bad it was. And we knew it was going to be that bad. That's why I didn't even go see it. I didn't even bother with it. But when you have, like, it's one thing for your movie to be bad. It's one thing for the directors and the writers and everybody else to shit on the character and shit on your most important character of your universe, by the way, in Superman, or technically pissing on Superman. And it's another thing when it's the producer saying we gotta insert, DEI this and DEI that, or we gotta put a black person here, we gotta make the woman this, and make the, make all the men look weak except for Lobo, because everybody wants Lobo. So, and even then, I hear that Lobo's only in there for about maybe like 5 minutes out of the entire movie. So, yeah. You're talking about Millie Alcock, the same Millie Alcock who is playing the Supergirl character, who apparently is a drunk. Apparently is playing this, drunk, sorority-esque type of chick trying to find herself. Again, another hero that's trying to find themselves. But everybody wants to go see a movie about the drunk chick as a superhero. I don't know, man. Look, this has DOA written all over it. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but I gotta be that guy. Because if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, then obviously we already know. So I even put a comment down here under the actual post, and I said, remember when actors and actresses had mystique to them? No one cared that they were idiots until they started to attack the fans. Open their mouths about politics and piss on the IPs and play victim, all while doing it. Like I said, she can learn a thing or two from Brie Larson, because Brie Larson, after that entire nightmare of 2018 and 2019, she turned everything back around. She shut the fuck up, went on about her day, continued her career, and now look at her. Now she's playing Peach. And is she Peach? Yeah, she's Peach, right? She's somebody, and but now she's playing she's voicing somebody in the Mario Galaxy movie, and seems genuinely happy. Now, again, I'm not here to say, oh, Brie Larson is she's hit a complete 180 as a person. Blah, blah. We don't know how she is as a person, but at least she shut the fuck up. At least she's doing her job, and that's all we ask of these actors and actresses and any entertainers, wrestlers included. I talk about it all the time on the channel with wrestlers. Do your fucking job and shut the fuck up. Because right now, you're making yourself look like, one, look like an idiot, and two, you are ruining the box office. So you want to talk about ownership of bodies? Well, guess what? You are not going to have any ownership over our wallets. And you're definitely not going to have any ownership over the box office this summer if you keep this attitude going on. So, I don't know, man. Hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments, man. Do you guys agree with what I'm saying? Do you guys not? What do y'all think? Let me know. It's your boy Corn, and I am disappointed.